Alright, Daikaiser is here sooner than expected, also bringing back the Legion mechanic, kinda. So let's begin. And now let's begin with the starter, Dimension Robo Core Kaiser, and yes, you must run this, as it's the core of Exkaiser. And now to the grade 1 with 8k power, King Loda! Dimensional Robo Kaiser Grader, which has the skill of auto when placed on Vanguard, search deck for 1 base, and add it to your hand, of course shuffle your deck. Typical setup grade 1, and especially for brand game. And then second skill, auto when placed on rearguard from Soul by card ability. If you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Daikaiser, this and all your Vanguard gets plus 5k power in the end turn. And the all your Vanguard part is going to be important because of the quote-unquote Legion coming back. You're going to have 2 Vanguards. And power stacking on your Vanguard is important for Dimension Police. And then to the grade 2 with 10k power, Dimensional Robo Kaiser, Exkaiser, in which it has the skill of Act Vanguard once per turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 2 cost, discard card from your hand, choose a Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser from your right deck, and ride it as stand. And if you rode, you cannot ride cards throughout the rest of the game except for Dimensional Robo. Either way, it is just going to be Dimensional Robo anyway, but of course the idea here is that you're going to skip to your grade 3 ride immediately, but this is only if you went second. Kind of similar to Die Dragon and basically kind of like Bull Mains with Azel. But the second skill is auto when rode upon by a grade 3 Daikaiser, calls to rearguard, which will trigger the third skill where count rearguard. If you have at least a grade 3 Daikaiser Vanguard, this unit gets boosts. Not much to say here, it's just typical ride line for some extra support. But nice that it could be a 10k booster and also making you go to grade 3 first. But keep in mind this can still be a double-edged sword, especially to make your opponent at full power on the first grade 3 ride. And now it's time to form up to the grade 3 with 13k power Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser. Reference to the King Exkaiser here, which has the skill of first D-Legion. Just think of this as a more restricted form of Legion, but basically it's Legion coming back, because what it's going to do is that you return a total of 4 cards, 2 being triggers and 2 being non-triggers, and the triggers cannot be heals or over trigger. And then you find the very specific mate card, aka in this case Super Dimensional Robo Daiyusha, from your deck and connect these 2 cards on your Vanguard. And then of course shuffle your deck. And if you guys are new to Legion, you're going to be getting the combined power of both Vanguards together, so this is going to be 26k base basically. And of course it's only during your turn. And of course both of them will be attacking at the same time with the combined power basically. Your main Vanguard is the Legion leader and the other one becomes the mate, and only your Legion leader is going to do the drive checks. So basically you don't stack the drive checks basically, but any skills that your mate has is technically going to be added to your leader as well, like Daiyusha's restanding the Vanguard. But anyway, to continue off with this part, is that when you perform this D-Legion, you lose all your Persona Ride abilities as well, and this one has no Persona Ride, so keep this one in mind. But anything that you ride on top over, both cards will go into Soul, and D-Legion can only be performed once per unit. But anyway, to continue off to the skill, Auto Vanguard once per turn when this card attacks, and if you did not boost this unit for the battle, cost Energy Boss 3, this card gets this skill in the end turn. Auto Vanguard at the beginning of your drive check step, choose one of your opponent's guardians other than the over trigger and retire. Yep, technically the guard breaking is back, but it doesn't nullify the Sentinel ability, because it goes from Guardian, and then Guardian skill, and then it goes from the retire part, because the drive check step. But anyway, to continue with the skill, if your Binzo has no Dimensional Robo Core Kaiser, then cost bind a Core Kaiser from your Soul, and this unit gets this skill into the end of the battle. Auto Vanguard, when your opponent's unit is retired from Guardian by this unit's ability, all its effects cannot be hit or nullified. So this part is basically the PG guard breaking part, where if your opponent does use PG, you can completely nullify that as well. So overall, not completely as strong as the original, but in a way it's similar to the original guard breaking skill. That is what it's known for, while also performing Legion in its base form. They never perform Legion in their base form, so I've actually found this a little surprising that they did this, but they did kind of have that anime moment where both of them were together. But in their evolved great forms, they did actually have a Legion form. So I did find this a little surprising that they actually did this. But overall, it doesn't sound super crazy until you realize that guard breaking is a little powerful, especially if your opponent decides to put regular shield units. That could be a little scary because at any moment you could actually destroy some of your opponent's stuff in Guardian, and it forces your opponent to use extra shield. It's just too bad there's no boost or Persona Ride, but being 26k base isn't entirely too bad. So overall, I kind of like it, especially bringing back a restricted form Legion, since Legion is technically one of those mechanics I do wish they bring back in a way, so this is a cool way to homage to it. And yes, the base along with Daiyusha are going to be reprinting the set, which Daiyusha is going to get errata, where it says from standing this unit, all your Vanguards is drive -2 into the end turn instead of it gets drive -2. Because if it says that, it means that your Vanguard is restanding with double twin drive. So I do get this restriction. And now to the support stuff, we first get Dimensional Robo Operator Sakuya, which is a great one with keep powering the skills. Auto, when this card is put on Guardian and your Vanguard's Dimensional Robo, choose a Dimensional Robo with a different name from this to your soul and call it to Guardian. This is run in your own leisure, but it's okay if you want to do it. Continue off with Dimensional Robo Die Spray, which is a great one with keep powering the skills. Auto when placed on rearguard from soul by your card ability. If your Vanguard is Dimensional Robo and you charge 1, considering that the deck is using a little more energy, it might be a little helpful, but at the same time, not completely necessary. And then to one that you must run, Dimensional Robo Operator Nanoka, which is a grade 1 with keep powering the skills. Act rearguard once per turn. If your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Dimensional Robo, cost Soul Blast 1, rest this unit. Choose a normal unit Dimensional Robo with different card name from this unit from your drop zone and put it to the bottom deck. And if you choose a card, choose one of your Dimensional Robos and it gets +5 keep powering in turn. Helps with power stacking and also recycling, especially when you put the regular Dimensional Robo unit that you want to be Legion with, that you can also Soul Blast out when you do on ride. So it's just helpful if you need it. And then we go to Dimensional Robo Directing, which is great too when taking power in the skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is Dimensional Robo, look at top 4 cards of your deck to choose up to one card that is either a grade 3 Dimensional Robo or one set order. Reveal it and put it in your hand, of course, of your deck, and if you remove a card, choose a card from your hand to put it either to soul or discard it. Extra searching is always helpful, especially if it's free. So it's already a must play with the second skill, Count Rearguard Guardian. If your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Dimensional Robo and your order zone has a base, this card gives us 5 key power and 5 key shield active on your opponent's turn as well. Beater that searches, you just must play it because it's consistency boosts. And finally to the Dragon Jet, Super Dimensional Robo Shadow Kaiser, the Dragon Kaiser. That is the grade 3 with 13 power. And no, we are not getting Great Daikaiser because this combined with Daikaiser makes the Great Daikaiser, and it's unfortunate we don't have Great Daikaiser right now. But anyway, it has the skill of Act Drop. If you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Daikaiser and you did not ride this turn, cost Soul Blast 1, bind this card, search your deck for up to one grade 3 Daikaiser, and ride it as stand, of course, shuffle your deck. And of course, if it's on top of the Legion unit, both cards are going to go to Soul. This is just to let you reperform Legion once again. That's basically the idea. Especially with the Soul Blast, where you can technically put the Daiyusha to your drop zone, so you could technically recycle it. But anyway, the second skill, Count Rearguard. If you have at least a grade 3 Daikaiser, this card gives us 5 key power, but your order zone has at least 3 or more bases plus 10k instead. So it's a big beater on its own, but mainly for the drop zone ability is more important. But this one also has a third skill where Auto Rearguard Hand. At the beginning of the guard step of the battle that your Vanguard that is Dimensional Robo that gets attacked, cost, put this card to the drop, and then choose the attacked unit, and it gets plus 10 key power in the battle. And this is before calling Guardians. Basically, it's the jet that protects the Exkaiser, which is kind of awesome and cool little reference here, especially with the assassin-like design. Overall, it's a pretty cool card to basically let you re-ride and also cool little defensive mechanic as well. Although for future uses, this might be able to be used for Great Daikaiser because it says any Daikaiser unit. And finally, here's the secret rare, and next week we got the new Dark State Ride line. That still looks like Stokea for me. And so that's it for these reviews of the new Daikaiser ride line. What do you guys think of it? Cool that they kind of brought back the Legion mechanic. In a way it works because this is two robot heroes fighting together. Even if the Legion mechanic is a little more restricted, I don't really mind it. I'm glad they kind of brought it back. Unfortunately, it did lose Persona, but I kind of get why. But I still find it weird that they did not bring the combined Gakdai forms here, especially Great Daiyusha. And then since they make the other card for Great Daikaiser, they didn't combine it to make Great Daikaiser yet. So I did find that a little weird. And also, this deck is basically nostalgia for me, especially a reference to the Brave series with Brave Exkaiser. So I might actually end up building the deck because of that. But on that, that's it for this. See you next time.